everybody. Welcome to Maker Mornings with Meg. I'm Meg Loven, and you are in the Loven Stamp Studio with me. So happy to see you all. And today's card is got a hip hip hooray sentiment on it from the Round We Go stamp set. So if you haven't seen this one yet, it's one of the ones that was new when this book came out. And if you haven't had a chance to look at it yet, you might recognize it if I show you the dies for it. And here are, without dumping them on the table, here are the dies. And one of the fun things about this are these little pinwheels that you can make. And we aren't going to make a pinwheel today, but I am going to show you how to use all the other little pieces in here to kind of make a fun kind of collage art piece on the front of our card. Because let's face it, right? I mean, what is a card but a little bit of an art piece? So we're also going to use the Dotted Circles 3D Embossing Folder, this guy here. So this mega size, no, don't adjust your television. This is actually the size that it is. And we're gonna use that to create a background. And then we're gonna add some jewels. We're gonna do some layering. I think you guys are gonna like this one. And we are featuring new in colors. So with that, let's go ahead and switch our camera over and we will get started. So like I said, round we go. And we're gonna go with basically a Pretty in Pink card base here. So I have a piece of Pretty in Pink. This is cut to the just slightly larger or slightly smaller than the size of our card front. So this is 4 inches by 5 1/4, which means it's gonna layer here. Remember, when you're making a long direction card like this, you always wanna score your cardstock so you get a nice neat fold line. And we are going to pop this here in our folder. I sometimes think it's easier to see how this works when you can see the folder. And we're gonna pop it in, but now you have lots of surface area here. So let's talk a little bit about where to position our card and how that's gonna work for us. So I could throw it in there anywhere. It would be fine. I could center it, whatnot. But usually when I'm doing a card like this, I like to kind of make my focal point sort of down here at the bottom third. So if I'm dividing my card into thirds, we have a line here and a line here, and a line here and a line here. So this is our third corner. And so I'm gonna actually make this the focal point, and I'm gonna emphasize that by placing this in our folder so that our dots center here right around that area, okay? All right, now I'm not gonna worry too much about whether it's straight, but we're gonna hang on to this for a second, and let's talk a little bit about some of the other pieces we're gonna use here. So like I said, we're featured here in our In Colors. And so I've got some Summer Splash and some Petunia Pop cardstock here to go along. And I wanted to show you how these pieces work with all of these dies because there's so many possibilities. So I'm gonna grab my Summer Splash and I'm going to use this large stamp here. So let's ink this baby up. And I'm gonna go ahead and stamp this here on my Summer Splash. So color on color cardstock. My ink pad's super juicy. If I really wanted to blot it, I could, but I'm honestly not gonna worry about it because I think it's kind of fun this way. And I'm gonna run this die here and just kind of keep rotating until it gets lined up. Now, once it's lined up, that's when I bring in my washi tape and I unline it up and I bring in my washi tape and go ahead and layer this on here so that this is set to go. And this is a pretty fine-tuned kind of die, so I'm actually gonna go with 2 pieces of washi tape. I know, try not to go crazy here. And then for here, I'm gonna go ahead and cut us out a couple of these little pieces here. So we have this one here, and we have this one here. And then we're gonna add one extra little element to this, and that's gonna be to add this little dotted die to it. So I'm gonna kind of look at the center here and get that lined up. And I'm gonna see if I can't get those pretty well lined up with our stamping here all the way around. And then I'm gonna pop another little piece of washi tape on there, and that's gonna add some extra texture to our die. So with that, come back, and I'm gonna bring you back to my die cut machine so I can show you a little bit about how these sandwiches work. So first things first, our folder. I'm gonna take away the white plate and the cutting pads so that all I have left is the number 1 platform. And then I am going to bring in our number 4 plate because our folder goes in here with just the number 4 on top. So hinge first, and runs through. And now we have our folder here, and I'll show you. Here's our dotted texture. So it's really, really deep. It actually goes 2 directions. It goes up and down, and it gives us a really cool effect. All right, now to go ahead and use my die cut machine for my cutting, I'm gonna put back plate number 2, and it shows me my thin dies here, so I know I'm exactly right in the place, and then I'm gonna put my 2 cutting plates on. So I've got my green pieces. Do you guys stack up? Do you stack up your dies and do a whole bunch of cutting all at once? I kind of love to, it feels efficient somehow, and I can cut everything that I need all at one time. So, all right, so I'm gonna run those through there. And then I'm just, with a die this detailed, I always like to double check the back of it, just to make sure that I can see really clearly, which you probably, there we go, see really clearly that it's cut all the way through. Before I pull my die off, because I could always run it through again, but once I take the die off, sometimes it's a little trickier to realign. So, all right, let's come back to our camera so you can see what we've got now. So here we have our die cut circle here, and I'm gonna be gentle about taking this off, and now we have this fun round, okay? And then we also have, put this back in here, our 2 dies here that we can use, and look at how beautiful these are. I didn't even have to like double cut them or run them back and forth through. They're just a really great die to begin with. So we have that really, now watch there, no, okay. With my, it never fails when you start to brag about it, right? Anyway, now we have these cut here, and oh yeah, they're cut fine. We can pop these out. So a lot of times I just find that working them back and forth a little bit, just sort of twisting this way, can help to tease any little bits out that are stuck. So, all right. So let's go ahead and look at assembling the front of our card. I have my die or my paper here, and I really like to do color on color with something like this. It just keeps it keeps the focus on the pattern and the texture, as opposed to necessarily like on having a different card layer background. So that is going to be our layer there, and you can see we get this nice effect, shadow effect at the edges. So that's kind of a cool bonus. And then I have some little strips of the In Color Designer Series paper. So I don't know about you, but I end up with a lot of little strippies left over from things. And I showed this card recently, a couple episodes ago, as a fun strippy card. So you can see how these fit in here too. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna feature these just kind of here, again on our focal point down here at the bottom. Now let's bring in our layers here. I'm gonna pop one of these here. We're gonna use our next one down here. And now we're gonna bring in a greeting. And of course, Round We Go has lots and lots of greeting choices. And so let's pull, I think Hip Hip Hooray is what we're gonna go with for this one. And I'm gonna go with these 3 colors. Now, one of the great things about the Stampin' Up! Color families is that you can mix and match any 2, 3, 4, 5 even colors within a color family and know that your project is going to look fabulous. So the In Colors are certainly no exception to that. And I'm just gonna go ahead and trim kind of some angles on here. And now we have a fun greeting that we can kind of pop down here, Hip Hip Hooray. Now, Hip Hip Hooray to me says like, woohoo, we need some excitement. So we need bling, and we're gonna get 2 kinds of bling in on this one. So I have here a piece of the glimmer paper. So this one comes as a set of all 5 In Colors. So here you can kind of see those Shy Shamrock, Summer Splash, Pretty in Pink, Peach Pie, and Petunia Pop. And so I just have a tiny bit. A little bit goes a long way with this. And I'm gonna layer this just right here so that it is helping to strengthen our greeting focal point. Because anytime we, draw attention to something, it just makes that element a little more powerful in our design. So I'm gonna add some Stampin' Dimensionals to the back, and we're going to go ahead and peel these off. Now, I haven't glued any of this stuff down yet. So this is where we kind of are cheating a little bit on our assembly. So what I'm gonna do, actually, I have this arranged where I want it. And I'm gonna go ahead and pop this on top. So now these pieces are loosely, and I say loosely, they're very loosely held together. So now I'm gonna go back with my Stampin' Dimensionals and I'm gonna add a little bit more reinforcement, but I know that they're where I want them artistically, so I don't have to worry about, you know, trying to get them settled again, okay? Let's put some Stampin' Dimensionals on here. And then I'm gonna use multi-purpose liquid glue across here and maybe a little more than I would always. And then I'm just gonna flip this one up, and so that it gets back in the same place where I put it, I'm just gonna flip it right back down. And now we're gonna go ahead and add our hip hip hooray here. Can't remember how I had this angled. Maybe about like that. Maybe about like that. Okay, so there we have our hip hip. I wonder if I can move it over a tiny bit. There we go. Okay, there we go. Hip, hip, hooray. So like I said, we need a little extra bling on this card here because this is a very happy sentiment. And so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna bring in the Tinsel Gems 3-pack. This is actually just a partial sheet of it, so rest assured that the whole sheet is usually covered. And let's go ahead and pull in, I need my take your pick tool. Let's go ahead and pull in some gems from this. And then we have some stamping to do because this is actually one of the most fun stamp sets that I have used in quite a while. And I'm gonna pop some gems. I think I'm gonna pop one up here. And then you guys know I really like using gems in 3s, and I like to weight the bottom corner because that's how we're gonna open this. So I've got my biggest gem down there at the bottom corner. You could also put some in the little medallions, but this is a fun chance to use some of those dies without necessarily having to make that fan fold. So the inside is looking pretty blank here. Let's go ahead and fix that. So I'm gonna bring in a piece of basic white cardstock, and I'm going to grab a little scrap paper because we're gonna stamp kind of off the edge here. So I have my piece or my Shy Shamrock Summer Splash, and we're gonna use that big stamp that we had earlier. Now I don't really want it to be full strength because I want to layer some pieces for some collage stamping. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp it off once and then stamp it here on my project. And now I'm gonna bring in Petunia Pop and add some little sparkles and some of these little slashy pieces right here. Kind of perfect that we didn't get that full image there. And then I'm gonna bring in lastly our Pretty in Pink, and I'm gonna add some Pretty in Pink dots here. And I'm gonna make some of those go kind of off the edge of my cardstock so that it looks like we have kind of this fun design that's just kind of cut out of our project. And when we layer this inside, there we go, our multi-purpose liquid glue. Try and keep my card front out of my ink. Then we have this piece here ready to go. So there is the inside of our card, and of course there's lots of space to write whatever you like. Now, if you are thinking, oh, I love that dotted folder, and those round we go pieces are a lot of fun, I actually have another version of this card, and the version that I made of this the first time that I made this card was much more subdued. I used a different stamp set and die set. I used Unbounded, I should have gotten it out to show you. I used Unbounded Beauty, which let's look into the sweet section here. Right at the beginning are all of our sweets, and oh goodness. Okay, here's the Unbounded Beauty suite. And I used some of these dies here. You can see how heavy these are on the in colors. The designer series paper for this matches the in colors. And so this is the pieces that I used, Unbounded Beauty here with these floral die cuts and the stamped and die cut flowers. And so same card layout, but here is a card of support. So it says you've got this. And we have sort of the same idea, just a little bit different feel because we've used these nice soft branchy pieces and these florals and a little bit smaller font here, but still, you know, same kind of idea of encouragement and so forth. So there is a fun example of how to use a single card layout to make two very different cards. I didn't even change the colors on these. Really, all I did was change the stamp set and just a little bit of the bling. We added some extra embellishments to this one here. So, all right. Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed this card tutorial, that you got some ideas, and rest assured, I will be sharing some ideas with the Round We Go dies and how to make those little flourishes for banners and fun 3D things. Seriously, those little fan folded pieces make me so happy, and they have a beautiful little rounded tip on one side and a zigzag tip on the other, so they're extra special, something that would be harder to do than just like, you know, scoring a piece of cardstock. So I'm excited to show you guys some projects with those down the road. So with that, please make sure you leave me a comment. Let me know if you are excited about those little floral die cut things. And let me know if you have been using your In Color Designer Series papers to make some strippy cards, either like the one we showed a couple episodes ago, or just a little simple strip feature like today's Round We Go or Unbounded Beauty cards. So. All right, everybody, happy stamping, and I will look forward to seeing you again next time for Maker Mornings with Meg, Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 9:30 a.m. Central Time here on the Loven Stamps Facebook page, shows later on Loven Stamps YouTube, and you can always catch up on episodes on my Loven Stamps blog. So with that, happy stamping, everybody.